Hello everybody and welcome. This is going to be our spoiler-free comfy start to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. So I am going to sit there and leave out a ton of spoilers. There are going to be certain things we are going to go over, and this is going to be quite simply a look through of just armors and such at a early rank that you will find. Remember, there are going to be certain requirements that we will sit there and show you of, like, just how to get a really good comfortable start into Sunbreak. So with that, let's get straight into it. We're going to sit there and recommend, as you can see on my back, the defender armor and weapons. These are going to be a great time and are just going to lead to resource light things. So if you're sitting there and needing a way to just get going, you can at least use the defender stuff to sit there and get your Sunbreak really rolling. Following that up, you're going to want to switch over to Kimura weapons. As you can see, this is going to be leading into the start of your mastery rank journey. So going from defender straight to Kimura is not a bad option. While sitting there and talking about recommendations for starting, your armor is pretty much, if you have other sets available to you, example, full Crimson Valstrax, you're going to want to sit there and use that. This could push very deep into mastery rank if you're using full Crimson and you're able to sit there and utilize it to its best potential. If not, sitting there and using something like full Black Belt is perfectly fine. The only other thing I would suggest early on is sitting there and making sure that you have Kaiser Crown. Kaiser Crown is just going to lead to a lot of just easy and more flexible times early on. So say, for example, we have Kaiser Crown, we just threw on a little bit of Black Belt S like we have here showing. Well, then we transition over to mastery rank. First off, sitting there taking a look at Kimura Legacy, our three pieces that are really going to be your go-to early on are going to be your chest, gloves, and waist. These just equal out to some great times. Sitting there with Kaiser Crown giving you full crit eye plus Wirebug Whisperer 3 and a whole bunch of other skills, plus the fact that the slots are fairly decent. Sitting there and having at least 3 level 1 slots here is going to sit there and allow you to put in speed sharpening, which is a high recommend. On top of that, a level 4 will give you a ton of flexibility in terms of what you're wanting. Following up with Kimura Legacy, you're definitely going to want to sit there and take your time to grab Hunter X. Hunter X is just overall going to be super juicy. It has stayed true to what it has at Rise base, which is overall just super comfortable. I do recommend, if you're going to sit there and start looking into stuff with Kimura Legacy and Hunter X, that you kind of mix and match. Mixing them up can sit there and lead to you sitting there and having, say, not full crit eye, but you're then sitting there and starting to slot in attack boost. My other recommendation is, if you have a talisman with weakness exploit at all, use that. It's going to be very, very good for you early on. So sitting there and at least having weakness exploit level 2 in your talisman slot is definitely going to be really beneficial for you as you progress through the game. Keep in mind, though, I am going to sit there and just say weakness exploit is just solid. The rest of it, like attack boost 4, or attack boost 3, sorry, or crit 3, or all these ridiculous other charms, I'm not going to sit there and really mention or talk about too much. That's keep at your guys' bias for sure. But sitting there and looking at what we have so far with 2 pieces of Kimura Legacy plus 2 pieces of Hunter X, you're going to be very comfortable. Sitting there and using all the slots and stuff that are available to you is just going to be a very good time. Having Hunter Greaves having a level 2, you're going to then sit there and slot in for attack boost level 3 in there, to then sit there and give you attack boost 4, which is where you want your perfect attack boost to be sitting early on. Following up with Hunter X and Kimura Legacy, we're also going to talk about Velociprey. Sitting there and using a mix of these 3 early on is very beneficial. You're going to sit there and have a ton of attack And with Kaiser Crown, you're going to sit there and be able to get your crit. On top of that, with having a decent talisman for Wex, for example, it's going to lead into a nice, comfortable, high damage build. Then you can sit there and slot in pretty much whatever suits your fancy. I, for the most part, was rocking good old sharpness and stun. So I was getting speed sharp plus stun resistance to just make it extra juicy and extra comfortable through my early Sunbreak experience. Do keep in mind, the biggest one out of Velociprey is definitely going to be your waist, just simply because it has Capture Master, which gives you even more rewards for capturing monsters. But fair warning and preference that this is going to be a little bit of a awkward spot if you're not careful, due to the simple fact that capturing gives different rewards than also sitting there and carving. Some rewards are only from carving, so if you're looking for certain monster materials, sit there, have a good old like strategy like we did on stream, where we sat there and just killed the monster we seen first, and then afterwards we just captured it to sit there and see the two different reward pools and what we wanted. And finally, this last recommendation is literally going to be for all of you that are sitting there and using focus. Having Bone X armor sitting there just being a great time for your focus, and having a 2-1 in terms of slots, plus sitting there and giving you full part breaker, is just going to lead to overall good things, due to the simple fact of we do get a way to slot inner focus, which I will not spoil. You are going to sit there and be able to get full focus super early on, as long as you have Bone X coil. With all that, definitely thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a really great Sunbreak, and just remember to stay comfy.